Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Here we go. The first episode of Gomez Watches Seinfeld. I am your host, Louis J. Gomez, here with my sister, Jeniece E. Gomez.
What up, kids?
She's so nervous right now. It's the fucking best. It's making me so happy to watch you this uncomfortable. And it's funny because when the camera's not on, she's just a raging cunt. And she's legitimately like...
Made Harrington cry. He was crying.
Well, can we actually start off with this? Because we're starting the show. Mike Harrington, you guys might know from the Believe in Me podcast, Gas Digital. I don't want to say whipping boy, but, you know, we know what he is. He's actually here producing the show. The reason we chose Mike Harrington is because no other producer would come out to New Jersey to do this show for the money that we're paying. So we got Harrington here, and
It's
Jenny.
been a disaster since he's walked through the door.
It really has been.
And interrupted my phone call. It's been a disaster.
Can we talk about this? Because everyone thinks that I'm harsh on Harrington. Now, my sister, who people don't know, and you guys are going to get to know her, she's never really dealt with Harrington in any other capacity except for the one time that he helped out with the Halloween party.
And kicked children off a trampoline.
Yes, he kicked the children off the trampoline and he ruined their fun. But please, am I wrong about Mike Harrington and his insubordination, his negative attitude, the constant fuck-ups? I mean, I'll just say right now, my entire room, this room we're doing this in, is where my son's drum set is.
Coffee.
He put a coffee, extra large. He bought an extra large hazelnut coffee.
Extra hazelnut
And
syrup.
he put it on the fucking floor next to where he's sitting. What do you think's going to happen if you have a coffee on the floor next to your dumb, goofy feet? What do you think? Yeah.
Half on the rug, half off.
He kicked yeah, he put a pencil under it so it was balancing on an edge. He kicked it over, so now there's coffee just sopped up under on the rug underneath my son's drum set. The entire room stinks of hazelnut coffee. He's still drinking it. It's making me angry that he just didn't get rid of it. So am I wrong?
Not at all. No, it's been...
What did you do to your phone call?
He just interrupted it. He just very, very inconsiderately interrupted my phone call. But
Yeah.
I tried to get past it, but it's just been one thing after another.
And my sister's 10 times as nice as me, and even her, she's sick of this shit. We're 1 minute into this podcast. All right. So here's the deal. This is the first episode. This is Gomez Watches Seinfeld. This is going to be, essentially, we're going to take you through the history of the show Seinfeld, episode by episode, in order. I've never watched Seinfeld until just last week. We watched the first episode together. I rewatched that first episode, took some notes. We're going to break down what happened in each episode and really talk about how it relates to our lives and hopefully have a lot of fun with the show. But I want to introduce everybody to you first, Jenny. Well, she's Jenny for sure. Jeniece E. Gomez is the proper name. But I want to introduce everyone to Jenny. She's very self-conscious right now. She's like...
Because of Mike Harrington.
Because of what did Mike Harrington do?
It is his fault that the lights are terrible and just...
My sister weighs 106 pounds.
Clearly, he's not
angling the cameras the right way.
To depict this.
Yeah, she's 106 pounds.
He's just frustrating.
She's an Instagram model, actually. If you guys want to go follow her on Instagram.
And he needs to work a little harder, I think.
I don't know what's going on. I think he CGI'd a middle-aged chubby mom. I mean, Jenny, look, here's one thing that's going to happen, okay? This podcast is going to change your life for the better. Okay, podcasting for me has changed my life in such an incredible way. It's changed Harrington's life, everybody involved in the Gas Digital Network, all the listeners to our podcast. It's a medium that changes lives for the better. And you're going to have to show up on camera every week. You're going to want to look better.
This is news to me because this was told to me that it was going to be audio only because up front, my baby brother
No. I said I bought an Audi only.
My baby brother knew that I would not agree because I'm not going to be all done up on camera, but it's fine. I will work a little harder.
Yeah, Harrington's telling you to eat your mic a little bit and talk into the mic as opposed to coming over here and over here and over here.
See, there is Mike
Don't
Harrington
actually
again.
eat the microphone. For the audio listener, she shoved it directly into her throat. It was
all the day with this guy.
Kind of sexy. Jenny, also, we do have a lot of, the majority of the people are going to be listening to this audio only, okay? So.
Oh, good. Okay. All right.
Now, there's a sect of the fan base that's going to be brutally mean on YouTube. Don't read the YouTube comments.
Audio only.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to just do a sexy voice for everybody, that's okay.
Watch some Seinfeld audio. Fans?
That's your sexy voice. Can you please be sexy for them?
Be sexier. Okay.
All right, be sexier for the fans. That's the thing. I invited my sister onto the show for a few reasons. Number one, because we need some more sex appeal for all of our male simp fans. Okay, so make it sexy. Okay. This is going to change your life in a massive way. You're going to want to be a better
There's
person.
6 people out there. Get out of here.
6 people? Oh, you'll see. I bet you this first episode premieres in the top 20 on iTunes. Okay. I bet you it premieres in the first top 20 on iTunes.
Maybe with Mark Norman. Maybe.
Can you stop recommending Mark Norman to the people? Because the problem is you keep saying that and everyone's like, dude, that's a fucking great idea.
So much better.
It wouldn't be better. Me and Mark Norman don't have a dynamic. Mark Norman is not dynamic driven. He's a fucking weird retard, okay? And he knows too much about the show. Okay.
It's definitely better that we don't know anything about the show. It's definitely better.
No, of course you have to. We're watching the show.
Don't know anything.
You don't think that you're being sarcastic? You're not. You have to work on your sarcastic tone on the show. Okay. Can you try that again with a little more sarcasm to your tone?
No, I can't. No.
You're gonna be like, it's gonna be so much better.
So much with us.
Yeah, that was good. There we go. See, you gotta enunciate your tones. That's not the right word, but you have to really, this is a specific medium. Okay. Now here's the thing: people don't know this about my sister. Okay. Number one, my sister,
first podcaster in history.
I'm saying you really did inspire me to get into this medium in a very strange way. My sister, when we were kids, my sister's painfully shy. The fact that you're even here right now doing this, like...
On our audio only format.
It's not audio only. The video's going out. I'm telling you right now.
It was told to me, but fine.
Just so you guys know. But the fact that you're even here right now is very surprising because I tried to convince her to do this for a few weeks and she's like, no. And then you decided to show up, which I think is great. I think you're taking it somewhat seriously. But my sister, when we were kids... She wanted to be a stand-up comedian. That was her first job. Like, I wanted to be a fucking, fireman or whatever. When she was a little kid, she wanted to be a stand-up comedian. And she never had the balls to go and try something like that. And I think that this is going to really bring you out of your shell.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
And then number 2, she used to do a show called The Jeniece E Show.
Hell yeah, dude.
Which was her and her friend Doug would send each other.
Doug, actually, he'll email me once in a while. He does audio and radio and podcasting.
Really?
Yeah.
To this day.
And he emails
from the Dougie Poo Show.
Doug from the Dougie Poo Show.
Wow.
We should get him on.
I'd love to get Doug on. It's a show of nobodies.
All the time.
Seinfeld's a show about nothing. This is a show with nobodies.
Yes.
So he emails you and says he podcasts. Does he know who I am?
No, but he tells me like, oh, you really inspired me. Like, like what we used to do back in the day, like was so fun. And like we yeah. So yeah.
You did. No,
he tells me that,
I watched you and Doug send each other. They would take an answering machine and essentially make these radio shows.
Dude, we would come up with segments. Dude, do you remember our Christmas episode?
No.
You don't remember the Christmas episode when Santa Claus comes in? And Rudolph trips over him and like gets electrocuted. He falls into Frosty and electrocutes himself.
Oh yes, I do remember this. I remember that. We killed Rudolph. Well, I didn't. I watched you guys kill Rudolph, and I tried to do the Louis Poo show.
And then I opened the present. I was like, oh well, he'd give me a present anyway, I guess. Let me open this.
So look, as a little kid, my sister's 2 years older than me, right? And when you're a kid, you look up to your older siblings. So I didn't have any opinions. You sort of have the opinions of your older siblings. So she liked heavy metal music before me, and I started liking heavy metal music. And she would, watch certain movies. She'd have her friends over, and I would always sort of look up to her. And I always assumed that she would be more successful. She was better in school than me.
Awesome, dude.
But it really fell apart. I don't know when her whole life fell apart and when she became this. But part of my goal for this podcast, and the reason we're going to say fuck Mark Norman, and he'll be a guest, I'm sure, but the reason I'm going to make sure that we're doing this show together is because I think that this show is going to do a lot for you personally, psychologically, financially.
What?
I think it's going to change your life in a lot of ways. I know how much podcasting has helped me, and I know how much you've influenced me.
Am I going to turn around like Mike Harrington's turned around? Like that much of a turnaround?
I mean, hopefully more. She's never seen me talk to my employees the way that I just talked to Mike Harrington. She had no idea. She was like, what? That's real?
I would have been gone if you were my boss. What?
I literally, when I saw that he kicked, because he knew not to tell me. He was trying to clean up the coffee.
I know, and I was trying to tell you. I was just walking by. I was like, you got a towel or something over here?
I was like, why do you need a towel? She's wet,
I
guys.
was like, he's got a thing.
Also, we're gonna have a little bit of an incestuous sort of relationship. We might, get a little sexual with each other. So if that happens, that's okay. But yeah, I'm excited about this show. We got to get into Seinfeld. We got to get into the first episode. Each week we are going to examine a brand new episode in order. Stop telling me to do your favorite episodes. We're going to get to your favorite episodes eventually. Sure, it might be 4 years from now.
Oh my God, it takes so long. Oh.
What takes so long?
To get to like the good episodes. Like I want to do the good ones.
Jenny.
Okay, that's my question for you. Do you know any good episodes?
I know nothing. I've never.
So you don't even know like the famous episodes?
No.
Like,
I know.
Like the yada 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 thing. Like you don't know about
I found out in my Wikipedia journey about Seinfeld that Seinfeld is responsible for the term yada yada yada. Like that didn't exist before Seinfeld. Soup Nazi. I know of the Soup Nazi. Like I know what it. I think I've seen the scene.
So that was gonna be my question for you. So like, coming into this, how much of it do you actually like? You know the characters. You know what everyone's supposed to be.
I know the characters to a certain degree. I don't know Newman. I don't know. I know who he is. I know who the actor is because I was on the Wikipedia, but I don't know what that is.
See, this is why I want an expert because Newman isn't that like Jerry's like nemesis, right? Like, yeah.
I don't know. Look, we don't need an expert. We're discovering the show together. There's a lot of people right now that have just watched it for the first time. Hopefully, you guys did watch it. I think I'm going to try to watch the episodes on Gas Digital with fans beforehand. Please stay tuned for that. But this is not going to be a watch-along show. We're just going to discuss it. So the idea should be you take 25 minutes, you watch that episode right before you listen to this podcast, and then you could sort of have some fun and, relive it with us.
Have a nice Sunday night.
It is, and it's also the only show on Sunday nights on Gas Digital. Real quick, even before we get into Seinfeld, let's just say, shout out Gas Digital. This show will be ad-free. Uncensored, obviously, on GasDigitalNetwork.com. You guys can get every podcast that I do, Legion of Skanks, Believe You Me, Real Ass Podcast, and now Gomez Watches Seinfeld, all in one place, along with 21 other incredible podcasts. Use the promo code GWS, and you get a 14-day free trial. Plus, you save $1.50 per month on membership. It's ad-free, uncensored. You get access to the Racist live chat, which we're pre-taping these shows, so I will be in the live chat on the 7 p.m. Sunday night streams for Gas Digital. You don't have to subscribe to watch the live streams, but in order to join the live chat, in order to get it in HD, in order to have it ad-free and uncensored, you do have to subscribe, and you get access to the entire on-demand library for every show that I've ever done. So this is thousands of hours of content. Make sure you use that promo code GWS. That gives us a little bit of cash for this show. Like I said, I'm trying to change my sister's financial life as well, trying to give her some cash, trying to make this show work for everybody.
GoFundMe, Gomez123 set up.
No, you're not fucking
I'm just kidding.
advertising at GoFundMe. She got an OnlyFans, guys.
OnlyFans, 123 set up.
Jenny, I'll be honest with you. Look, you're a little chub right now. It's okay. But doing an OnlyFans may not be a bad idea. These fans they're all fat and gross. Just so you know, the fan base is you're right up their alley. You're very attainable for them.
I don't want to be paid for being fat and gross and taking my clothes off.
You're not being fat and gross. You're going to show a little bit of a nipple.
For my brilliant ideas, and I'm speaking into this microphone like my baby brother does.
Wow.
What?
Take that, Karen Feehan.
What? Keep your clothes on, ladies.
All right, look, let's get into the show. A little history about Seinfeld, things that I found out. Let's see. The first air date was July 5th, 1989. The Writers Guild of America named it the second best written TV show behind The Sopranos.
How do you feel about that? Would you rate it like a top 10 TV show of all time?
I've watched one episode.
Knowing what you know.
No.
No?
Knowing what I know right now, no. I think Dexter's
top
better.
3 TV shows of all time.
Game of Thrones.
Of all time.
Game of Thrones.
Sitcoms.
Martin, Living Single. That's the other thing is I didn't grow up on these white ass fucking shows.
That was what I was like. I don't understand why we're doing a Seinfeld watching. I'm a little more prolific when it comes to cartoons or Living Single.
So you want to do a Living Single?
Gomez is going to watch Living Single. Martin.
Look, this whole Gomez Watches brand could expand out. Luckily, we have the Gomez Watches brand. That's our thing, okay? I'm also going to try to make this one nowhere near as racist as Legion of Skanks.
Oh, my God, please.
So we will get Seinfeld fans that are like, oh, this is cool. It's a Seinfeld watch-along show, That's kind of fun.
They're like, these two don't know anything.
But we didn't grow up on this. We grew up really fucking poor. If you know our history, or you know my history, we grew up on welfare. Mom addicted to methadone, I think, at that point. I didn't relate to these whitewashed
That
shows.
was my thing too, and the fact that I was surprised that it was 1989. I thought it had started more in like 1992, 93. Like, I knew it was just huge in the 90s. It wasn't something that I paid too much attention to because there was just nothing relatable about it.
You just put the mic here so this when you're turning toward me. No, stop doing. No, now you turned your head the other way. Turn your body a little bit. There we go. And you can put the mic there. Stop trying to cover your face with the microphone. Your face is not the problem.
It's half. It's about half.
That's not true. Jenny, you're
60-40.
You're an attractive girl. Relax.
All right,
Let yourself
let's just hang out.
yourself go. Okay. Well, you have, but let yourself go to the. Let yourself go to the.
I'm chilling.
Just relax. You just gotta chill. Okay. We all got our problems. Nobody's judging you. Okay.
All right.
I mean, they're literally judging you right now. It's wild.
They're so mean.
No, they're not mean. They're gonna be great. I'm telling you right now, they're gonna be great to you. Okay. I could have put you off camera, but I think that would be even weirder.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we grew up on urban shows. We grew up being really, I couldn't connect to Frasier or Friends or Seinfeld.
Your mom, like our mother, she actually loved Frasier a lot, which surprised me. Like,
really?
Yes. She liked Seinfeld too, which that surprised me. Because it's
like,
kind
what's
of
the deal with heroin?
No, but it's just.
That's what you say to her dealer every day.
It's a nebbishy show, and it's got that like.
Our mother was also wildly anti-Semitic, so was she just watching it to take notes to start her new
She thought it was
Holocaust?
funny. She sincerely she'd be like, that show is like, despite the Jewiness,
despite
of
all
it,
of the Jews on it,
Jewiness, like it's But I just it never clicked with me. When I was older, once it was like in syndication or reruns. Then I would just pick up episodes here and there.
Speaking of which, read that Netflix is going to they just got exclusive rights to the show, and they are going to be streaming the entire series, or every episode you could stream on Netflix starting in 2021. So
I watch it on Hulu, so it's on Hulu too.
It's not going to be on Hulu after Netflix buys the rights. I purchased the first few seasons on Amazon Prime. Please go download the first season if you got to fucking get it illegally. I don't give a shit.
Make him some money.
Yeah, why not? But no, I think the way I think you should enjoy this show is to actually watch the episode first and then listen to the podcast right afterwards, because I think it's going to be fresh and it's going to be a fun way to enjoy it. So, all right, let's see. Right now, air date was July 5th, 1989. Jenny, you gathered some information about that time in history.
Number one movie.
What was it?
Batman.
The original Batman.
The original Batman. Do you remember that being a big deal? That was huge.
Did I see it in the movie theater? I think I saw it in the movies with our mother.
I think you saw it with Rocky.
Ooh, maybe.
Yeah.
That was my gay friend Rocky, who tried to suck my dick in his pool.
We used to always send you his way too. We were just like, here, take him. Just take him away.
They didn't give a fuck what was happening. Rocky
you were going off of Michael Jackson. We were like,
Rocky was trying to suck my cock at every turn.
He was.
As a child. He really wanted my cock. And he's gay now.
He is.
Oh, he's really gay now.
Yeah, he's really gay now. I know. He hits on Corey.
Whoops, sorry. Sorry, Rocky and Corey.
I don't know. Who are those guys?
So, all right. So first, look, I love the original Batman movie. I watched it with my son recently. Great flick. Love it. Bring me back to that time in history. I love it. That's huge. All right. What else?
Number one song.
Number one song at the time was what?
Good Thing. Fine Young Cannibals. What
song is that?
Ring a bell?
What song is that? Let me turn it on. Harrington, can you turn it on? I don't want to... This song?
Do you remember the guy in that video? Do you remember the guy in this group?
No.
He looked exactly like Izzy.
Can you, Jenny, let me explain to you something about podcasting. You need to give people a little bit of frame of reference.
No,
you can't just say Corey and Izzy and like. So you see, when I mentioned Rocky, I told a story about who he was. You can't just say Izzy. Okay. Now, if you're a listener to the Real Ass Podcast or Legion of Skanks, I probably told this story before. Izzy was a guy that my mother dated. And my sister actually snuck out and peeked in the window as he was fucking the shit out of my mom.
Oh my God.
And it tortured her soul. Like my sister came and got me.
I didn't see any of it.
My sister came and got me from my bedroom, right? She was staying next door with my aunt. Stop doing that, please. Your scribbling's very distracting. So she went and got me, and she was like, hey, come on, let's go look through the window at our mother and on her date with her boyfriend.
I hear her moaning. Let's figure out what's happening.
Yeah, and my sister like stood on a garbage can and peeked in the front window. And what did you see?
I didn't see anything.
Are you just blocking from your
No,
memory?
I swear to God.
So why'd you freak out?
It was the sounds. It was.
What was it? Can you do an impression of the sounds, please?
No.
Please.
I knew.
For the fans.
I
It's
knew.
an audio for the audio.
All right,
fans.
you be Izzy. I'll be our mother. Ah, deeper, Izzy. Oh.
No, she didn't say deeper.
Yeah.
No. Oh, she said deeper. Oh.
No, she didn't say deeper.
That's disgusting. Oh my God, that's gross.
But there was moaning.
There was moaning, so he was giving it to her good.
Giving it to her.
And my sister.
And she was loving it.
Oh yeah, of course she was.
And I had to stop that.
She had to stop my mother's
That needed
only
to
pleasure.
Stop.
So my sister was the reason that my mother never found love and probably died of heroin because she was so alone and didn't have anybody to pull her out of that mess.
Izzy, though, really?
Look, it may have been Izzy, it may have been another guy, but the problem was because you freaked out. See, here's what happened. My sister starts freaking out. Okay, freaking out, screaming, crying. Knocks over the garbage can so they hear it. Like she runs next door to my aunt's, and what happened? This is sort of where it goes hazy for me.
Yeah, I don't know where you went because I ran next door and started screaming and made a big deal over there, and then Anna started.
I just started running in the streets at 11
I think you
o'clock
climbed back in the window. You were like, "I'm sleeping. I'm out."
Yeah, I went back in the bedroom window.
Anne-Marie started calling the house, saying, "What's going on over there? What are you two doing?" And then it just became a whole thing. And he didn't even leave. He stayed. He's still even after that.
He had a nut.
Disgusting.
What do you think he's gonna do? He's not gonna nut.
Ugh.
He's all blue balled up.
You remember she used to like have hickeys all over her body from him?
Oh, she's such a gross pig.
Right? It was
Who
so
would have
disgusting.
hickeys? Yeah, she did have hickeys.
I know. That's the thing. It wasn't.
I think I
even,
have a hickey right now.
I was gonna say the other day at the car dealership, you definitely did. Like a disgusting pig. Like you're not a 40-year-old father.
What? It was a little joke. We were playing
Out
a
of
joke.
control.
Yeah. Yeah, she was gross. That was pretty disgusting. And yeah, so my mother at that point, I think, shut down sexually, and she didn't really bring any more guys home.
Yeah. Good.
You don't feel any guilt about.
A little guilt, yes, but whatever.
All right. So what else? Anything else from that time in history?
Yes, and then this is coming right off of Hulk Hogan's WrestleMania 5 win.
Jenny.
So we are gonna gauge times in history according to who was champion at the time where they were. So Hulk Hogan was the reigning champion in 1989.
WrestleMania 5 was against, hold on, Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yes.
With the Macho King at that point.
Who's over what? What was the issue?
Did Hogan take Miss Elizabeth, and that's when Randy went with Sherry? What? We're not talking pro wrestling on the podcast. I literally said no. Don't include that. It has nothing to do with anything.
Elizabeth was acting like a little pig.
Elizabeth was kind of a whore. She was out there fucking around with everybody.
And then Macho Man got upset, so she
All right,
was in a neutral corner.
Anything else? July 5th, 1989. This show premieres. That's it. Okay, so at this time I am 7 years old. You are 9 years old. We're not even thinking about Seinfeld yet in our lives. So let's talk about the first episode. First of all, people say they hate the first couple seasons of Seinfeld. They say it's not funny. It doesn't get good till later on. I think because people set my expectations so low, I sort of enjoyed the first episode more than I was expecting to.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was so funny.
There was funny moments. What I did was
there was like literally like funny laugh out loud moments that I had where I was just like, where I never have that, and so yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely funny laugh out loud moments. I wrote down some of the funnier moments, and when we get to them, I'll let you know when I genuinely laughed. It's not like it was like cracking up the whole time. I'm not like losing my mind. It wasn't like just nonstop ball of laughter, but it was good. It was very like, as a show, it was, you could tell it's a pilot. It's a little clunky. There's not, when they say it's a show about nothing, the first episode, what's even the plot? I mean, Jerry has a chick coming to visit him, and he doesn't know whether or not she wants to fuck him. That's the whole plot of the first episode.
The thing I think with this show, especially, I don't know, some of these shows that are like, that's why I said, what are your top shows? Because I feel like the cast is like what makes this show one of the greatest shows of all time. So that's what this whole episode was about, just introducing you to their little ticks and their little nuances and who they are. Like the second Kramer walks on screen, I'm cracking up.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm cracking up.
Look this up for a second. They call in the pilot episode on my Amazon, when you click the button to show like the details of like the actors that are in the scene, whatever that's called, that feature. Yeah, X-Ray, right. They name him. They call him Kessler. It says Kessler. Was he named Kramer in the first episode, or was that just some sort of typo or something? Find out, please. But yeah, Kramer is all the comedic relief in the first episode. You know what I'm saying? Like he was called Kessler in the first. In the pilot, he wasn't named Kramer. Boom. First little fact right there that you might not remember.
Wow.
Elaine, also not in the first episode.
No.
Okay, they didn't give a fuck about diversity
They
in the
needed
first
female
episode.
energy. Yeah, they definitely
They
needed
put the
some
pilot
female
out,
energy.
and this is 1989 where it wasn't really a big thing, but you know they got that note. Once they sold that pilot and they got that note, they're like, yeah, you need a strong female lead. You need somebody that's going to be there. So she wasn't even in the first episode. The only female character in that first episode is the waitress, just some sort of dumpy redheaded waitress.
Is she a regular in the show? Is she like always?
I have no idea. We're going to find out. We don't know. We're not trying to go to the future,
I want an
Jenny.
expert. I
We're
want an
trying
expert to tell me
no
these
fucking
things.
experts. We don't need experts, okay?
We should call Mark Norman. We should have him just like.
We're not calling Mark Norman.
Like,
Please
real
stop
quick.
mentioning Mark Norman
Real
on this
quick.
show. Stop mentioning Mark. Please. He's not on the show. I'm sorry, everyone. He's not the co-host of the show. You need to have more confidence in yourself, dude. These fans, they don't know anything, okay? They know nothing. All they're doing is we're leading them to water.
All right.
You can lead them to water. You can lead them to Mark Norman. Pick a fucking lane, Jenny. Lead them to the water. That is Jeniece E. Gomez.
Let's
okay?
go. Let's
stop.
rock and roll.
Sorry, you guys know stuff. Edit all that out. Got it. Perfect. Okay. So here we go. It opens up. Jerry does stand up in his in the opening.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how do you think the stand up holds up?
I mean,
I
it's
don't think
just
it holds
not.
up.
It's not. You know, number one, it's stand up for television. It's sort of weird. They're using the laugh track for it. You know, a couple things I noticed in the comedy club, they're fucking smoking cigarettes all over the place. Which is,
the good old days.
Yeah, you know, which is, I remember the year that they stopped allowing smoking inside of like diners and bars.
What year in the city? What year would that have been?
2000 maybe? It was right when
It was
I moved to the city.
2002 in Rockland because I was working waitressing.
Yeah.
So it was after like I had started waitressing.
Yeah, it was 2000, 2001 maybe, and that's when it was crazy. I remember just because I was a smoker at the time, I was like, "This is fucking nuts. They're taking away our rights." You know, and like now that I don't smoke, like
In Jersey, it was a long time after that too, because you could come down to the bars in Jersey and you would like burned on the dance floor with cigarettes still.
Yeah, I think
like,
are there any places right now where you can still smoke inside in this country? I think
No,
there
I
are.
don't think so.
There must be. Please look it up, Harrington. Fact check this
There's
at
no
any
way.
time. So yeah, I was talking about the diversity, but there's no women, there's no black people. The only black people are two people in the laundromat. That's it. Wait, what happened? 12 states. You could speak, Harrington. You don't
to
have to
smoke inside?
Alabama,
Really?
Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia.
Yeah, it's all the fucking red states. These
That
are also
sounds about
places
right.
that don't have any mask
They're
policies.
storming the Capitol.
COVID doesn't exist. Yeah, it's although we call them the Proud Boy states. So
You can smoke inside in any.
whatever, you smoke inside. Who cares? Your body, you're right?
I mean,
So, yeah, no diversity, no black people, no brown people. I don't really give a shit. One of the things that we're going to notice is when we see things that couldn't fly on the show today, we should call that out as well. Not much of that. I have one thing later on we'll talk about, but the scene, the stand-up comes in, it's fine. Then they go and they're in a diner, or I guess the diner that they usually go to, and Jerry and what's his name?
George.
You got to speak into your microphone, Jerry.
George. You might want to get familiar with George.
Yeah, George. Jerry and George are in they're in a diner and they're having a conversation. First they start talking about a shirt, whatever, yada yada yada, and they're sort of showing their relationship, which is sort of like they're bickering. You know, it's two nebbishy Jews. They're sort of going back and
But
forth.
that's your first introduction to George, which is hilarious. Everything about him is funny. Like his mannerisms are funny. The way he's flailing his arms are funny. Like everything George does is hilarious.
Yeah,
From
George is a very funny character.
the second you're introduced to him.
Also, George, who's the actor?
Jason
Alexander. He's a great actor. Jason Alexander, I think, was already very established as an actor, right? Maybe I'm wrong about that. But if you check his IMDb,
When did Pretty Woman come out?
Ooh, that's a good point. Pretty Woman. Was this before or after Pretty Woman? Because he was great in
Yeah.
Pretty Woman. He was
very
great in Pretty
convincing.
Woman. By the way, I watched Pretty Woman as a child with my mom, and like my mother would look at it like longingly, like this is like her fantasy
No,
life.
she didn't. She used to say this movie's bullshit. This would never happen. No rich man would ever marry some dirty ass prostitute off the street.
She knew.
She said this all the time.
The way that I looked at it was that I watched my mother watching this movie multiple times. She like loved Richard Gere.
And she thought it was bullshit that she wasn't doing drugs in the bathroom. She thought the whole movie was bullshit. Yes, it was a beautiful fantasy, I'm sure, for some ladies out there, but
Also, this in Pretty Woman, she was like, it's my second day hooking. Like, shut the
I
fuck
know.
up,
You're
bitch.
like, you're like a third guy.
Yeah, okay. So look, maybe I was wrong about that, but I really thought our mother wanted to be Pretty Woman.
No.
Our mother
She
was.
said it was bullshit. That
Our
whole
mother was
movie.
actually a prostitute.
Your mother. First things. I'm gonna keep it real on our mother because our mother wasn't this horrible person. She actually had a lot of insight and a lot of good knowledge that. I
Unhooking.
think-
And
No,
on what would or would not
being
go
a stupid
with hooking.
asshole. That wouldn't happen. You wouldn't. Pretty Woman. It's not gonna happen to you.
I don't shit on our mother that much, do I? Do I paint her like a...
No, but she had some very wise lessons.
Well, give me a
for
wise
us to
lesson
learn.
from our heroin-addicted prostitute mother, please. Give me one of the wise lessons that she would have told you.
I'm blanking.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know if you're gonna be a prostitute, you get the money right up front. Number one.
Business
Number
before
one rule.
pleasure. That was the
Number
lesson
one rule.
that our mother taught my
Not
young...
business before pleasure. Don't be.
That's
no,
literally business before pleasure.
Not business before pleasure. What are you gonna do if he decides he's not gonna pay you? You're gonna go to the police?
It's business before pleasure.
No, give me the money.
Okay.
Oh, you're not gonna give me the money? Okay, beat it. You're not getting nothing.
Okay.
Number one lesson.
Okay.
There you go in
There we go.
prostitution.
I appreciate that. If please, anytime you remember any of our mother's life lessons
I
throughout this
certainly will.
show, I want you to include them. So Jerry has a woman coming in from Michigan named Laura, I believe, and he's like, "Oh, I'm very excited. This woman's coming in. I met her on the road in Lansing, blah 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 blah." And then so George is excited. You know, they're dudes. They're talking about bitches. You know, and he's like, "Oh, so tell me about her. What happened? What'd she say?" And then Jerry says, "Oh, well, she said she had to come in and maybe we'll get together." And George is like, no. That's it. Then and he focuses on the words, which is
because that's why George is great.
yeah. And look, I get it.
He's
Look,
so relatable.
it's a salesman thing, right? You want it when you're looking to get with a woman, you're looking for buying signs, and he's not really wrong about this. And we actually find out later on, spoiler alert, he's not wrong, right?
Not at
so
all.
she says, I had to come in and maybe we'll get together. So he's like, that's it. That's a kiss of death. It's like that. She had to come in. Maybe you'll get together. And Jerry's like, whoa, what are you talking about? So, you know, he says that she's Jerry's backup plan, and that sort of sets up this, you know, the episode. That's the whole real episode is
debate.
him waiting to see if she's gonna come.
Well, that's
in.
what a lot of the episodes end up being is like they get into this like situation, and then it's a debate about whether or not what they're doing. And, you know, somebody will take the crazy side of it and somebody will take the straight man side of it. And then it's just a debate over, you know, the soup episode. Like the whole debate is, would you go to this place
No.
to buy the
No,
soup? Would you
no,
go there?
No.
Even though
No.
it's the best soup in the world,
No.
you're getting abused
That's
by this
what
guy.
episode is the Soup Nazi episode, Harrington?
God, it's so far in.
What episode is that? Because I will let you know the date that you're going to hear about this episode. Say no more. We're editing out everything you just said. We're not talking about anything except for this episode. So this is 6 or 7 years from now.
3 years from now.
The 116th episode.
I'm going to be dead by then.
116 weeks. That's two years and a couple months. No, you're changing your life. You're gonna. Let me tell you something. By the time the Soup Nazi episode premieres, and mark this right now. Okay, this is the pilot episode of Gomez Watches Seinfeld. By the time the Soup Nazi episode premieres, look back. My sister is going to be confident. She's gonna have makeup on.
Not a lump. Not a dumb lump.
She will have lost some weight. She's gonna have real
lump.
tattoos instead of scribbling on her arm or whatever the fuck that is. Are you an autistic child? Why is there scribbling all over your arm?
I was playing with children today. What were you doing?
I was playing with children too. I didn't let them
Okay.
take a pen to my skin. I'll tell you that much. So then it's let's see. They go to the laundromat.
Yada yada yada.
Yada yada yada. Jerry's sitting Indian style on the table, which was ridiculous to me. Like if I walked in a laundromat and there's a grown man.
What did you think of his New York City apartment? I love the authenticity, the little tiny.
That's not authentic because she sort of trashes it when he comes in, right? Like when she comes in.
You didn't think it was tiny, like teeny tiny?
No, you have no idea what a New York City apartment's like.
Okay.
If you're he's not supposed to be broke, right? He's supposed to be.
Yeah,
broke,
none of them are broke.
Maybe broke for a Jew on the Upper
George-
West Side.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe struggling for that. Yes.
Yeah, like comparatively.
To me, as a kid growing up, they were like the most successful people in the world to me. They were like.
I had a friend,
These are
Rocky.
like these
My gay friend
successful
Rocky, who tried to
grown-ups.
suck my cock. He lived in a trailer, and I thought he was made of money.
Yeah.
I thought he was made of fucking money, dude.
They were
Very well to do. They
well-to-do.
were all garbage.
They were very
drove an
well-to-do.
old Camaro and an old Jeep, and they were garbage people.
Very well to do.
Okay. But yeah, I think who would you compare Jerry at this time in Jerry's career? Because I don't know if he gets bigger and he becomes more famous, but is he he's supposed to be like a minor celebrity comedian already, right?
Yes.
So I'm like the level of a Mark Normand.
Like a Big J.
You think he's as big as Big J at this time?
No,
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think he's even as big as Mark Normand.
no.
No, I would say. I mean, yeah, I guess fine. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe a Joe List, because I think Mark Normand's technically shot up past Joe List.
But I think like Mark Normand and Jay are more like.
I would put
famous?
Mark Normand and Jay at probably a comparable level of fame.
I think they're more famous for like television stuff. So like Jerry or Seinfeld was famous for stand up. Like,
well, it was also a different time.
He had a stand up act that was famous. Like
in 19...
that's what I'm saying. Everybody in 1989 who had a successful stand up act was given a TV show, and it either ran and became a hit, or it clunked out.
The way the plan in 1989 as a comedian was develop your hour. Your hour was supposed to be super autobiographical. And then you could hopefully turn that hour into a
And they
sitcom,
all did it. Roseanne
movie.
did it. Tim Allen did it.
Yes.
Seinfeld did it.
And that was the plan. And if it went, it went. If it failed, it failed. But these guys all would, the clubs, you would go on the road and you would be sort of a road act and you would start to develop a following. But there was not, even back then, there was no email lists. Obviously, there was no social media. There was no way to stay connected with these people. So your name would appear on a flyer, and the people that saw you last year would tell a couple friends. It was very like, what a crazy time to even try to develop a fan base. Like now we have podcasts, we have, it's so much easier to connect with people. And if you're good, I think it's really easy to actually build a pretty large following very quickly. But this is a different time. So I think it's kind of hard to even gauge where Seinfeld was. I don't really know, how big or how famous he was, but let's just say that he was like, he's not a household name. He's not walking down the street and being recognized too often, but he's working the country. He's working all of the clubs. He's a very established comedian already at this point.
I think he travels, right? In the beginning, he's traveling.
Yeah, the first episode, he met this chick in Michigan.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see, they go to the second stand-up bit. The first time I laughed out loud in this episode was at the laundromat. They're talking about how Jerry's gonna over dry his clothes, and Jerry goes into his little Jerry Seinfeld like, "What? You can't over dry, you can't over wet. It's either wet or it's dry." Blah blah blah. And you're like, "All right, Jerry, he's rolling." I roll my eyes regularly at Jerry Seinfeld in this show. Okay, but the first time I laughed out loud, Jerry's not looking, and George opens the dryer door and closes it to act like it was done, and that made me giggle. But once again, still sort of examining these personalities, examining the relationships.
See, at that point, you haven't like connected with the personalities yet. You don't care at this point.
No, it's not that I don't care. You're sort of they're still establishing themselves.
Because I feel like I care about George at this point. Like he cracks me up.
George is very funny at this point. George is the funniest part of the show right now, up until Kramer comes in, or Kessler, I should say. So then they go into the next stand-up bit, which I thought was actually a really funny bit. And he's talking about, he's like, you see these commercials? Sometimes they advertise that you can get blood stains out. It's like, blood stains? If you got blood stains, maybe laundry isn't your problem. And like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, dude, rape. You're raping women, right, dude? You're so right, Seinfeld. Come on, right? What are you doing to these women? Where are your victims? Guys, claw marks in behind your neck, right?
Semen and panties, yes.
No, so his punchline is, he's like, maybe you should get the harpoon out of your chest. And I was like, all right, just sort of soft, not my type, not where I would have went with the joke, but I love the premise completely, to be completely honest. So next scene is when Kramer or Kessler finally enters. He spoils the Mets game.
That was so funny. That is hilarious. That whole entire thing.
Yeah, it's funny.
He's setting himself up. He's getting himself all ready.
Yeah.
He's walking over. He's sitting down. Like.
Well, what's kind of funny is he gets a phone call.
Yeah,
they set it up, and he's like, hey, I'm watching the Mets game. Don't say anything about it. Which is it's kind of funny because I deal with this with Big J all the time. Big J Okerson, for those of you who don't know, if you don't know, which is crazy, is a good friend of mine. He loves all the Philadelphia sports teams, so he does this. He DVRs the games and then watches them after the fact, and gets furious if you spoil. But if it's a live sporting event, the only thing I can relate with is mixed martial arts. Once it's not live anymore. Sometimes, if it's a really big fight, sometimes I'll watch, but I just don't really give a shit. I don't even try to avoid the internet. See, back then, all we had to do was not pick up the phone, avoid just running into a few people, and that's that. right now, if you check your messages, you check Twitter, you check Instagram, you're going to find out everything. So it's nearly impossible. So if I can't watch it live, I don't really.
What about
give
like a
fuck.
book, like Harry Potter? When the last Harry Potter came out, I stayed waited from the internet for like a week and just finished the book before like.
Let's see. The last Harry Potter. Yeah, I mean, I was on. I read it on vacation. I was in Puerto Rico with my ex-girlfriend when it came out, and yeah, I wasn't. Even then, social
I read
media,
it overnight. I just read it in one night and just was like, I'm gonna stay away.
social media wasn't like as hardcore then. This was it 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is like years and years ago, and there was like MySpace and there was the internet, but it wasn't that difficult to avoid spoilers. We didn't have smartphones. We didn't have like this thing where we were constantly checking, right? So
I just thought it was so funny, the whole setup though. Like,
Kessler comes in. He ruins. We're calling him Kessler this episode. That's his name.
fine.
And he goes, yeah, the Mets really sucked it up tonight, right? Jared's like, what? I just said it. And then the second time I laughed out loud was he goes, you got any meat?
That
And
was
then
the second time I wrote that down. Yeah,
he pulls two pieces of bread out of his pocket. Got any meat? it's just ridiculous.
He's amazing. He's
it's
fucking hilarious.
I
dude.
mean, that character is so funny that you have to forgive him for the N words, and we're gonna explore when that comes up. We're gonna explore that at one point. But I mean, come on.
You forgive him.
Come on. What are you gonna
Come
do? He's a
on.
funny character. So yeah, I mean, let's see. Rips the paper, that was funny, blah, blah, blah. So then the next scene, or actually the same in that scene.
The whole thing about Kramer though is like you can't wait to see what he's gonna do next. Like everything out of his mouth is insane. It's hilarious, and like you just that was your whole introduction. So that's like, I think it's a great pilot. I think you got George, who's a compelling, funny guy. You got Kramer, who's this maniac. You got Jerry, the straight man. They just needed the female energy, and Elaine just completes the whole.
They needed a black person.
No, they needed the female energy, the female perspective, like that gets really fun.
I'm just saying, by today's standards, they needed a black guy to be in there. Or Elaine would have been a black woman.
That's the thing, though.
By today's standards, Elaine.
The racist thing, though, is that they don't need a black person. They're a group of 4 Jewish white friends in the city who
that do not hang out with black people.
Who don't hang out with a black friend. Who don't have that dynamic with the black dude down the street. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's,
the black dude down the street simply was the guy that they would cross the street.
I'm not mad at the black dudes in the barber shop who don't have a Kramer barging in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not mad at them for that. Like, they don't have a guy who chills with them like that. Like,
yeah.
These 4 Jews don't chill with the fucking...
Yeah, we just watched Soul, and everyone was black in Soul. They didn't diversify Soul. There was not a single white person in Soul.
I mean, it's okay to just have a group of 4...
Yeah, I don't... Look,
that's just my opinion.
You're preaching to the fucking choir here, and it's more realistic for life. Like, you see this all the time. People talk about diversity, and then you go on their Instagram.
Throw, like, what up, jive turkeys? Like, what are you going to just throw some black guy in the middle?
That's how my sister sees black people. I want to point this out. I'm sorry for the people that came here that are just Seinfeld fans, and they're not... Legion of Skanks or any other fans. That's how black people talk, according to my sister. Like in 1971,
that was not very racist.
Funk
Who were
basis.
they gonna hang out with?
What up, you jive turkeys?
Yeah.
What's going on, Jerry? What's the deal with watermelon, yo? Yeah. So look, I'm saying by today's standards, they would have made Elaine a black woman.
Absolutely.
They would have made Kramer a Puerto Rican guy.
Yep.
You know, which they should remake the show with all diversity in mind. I would think that's hilarious.
That would be hilarious. That'd be really fun, actually. I would watch.
Okay, so Jerry's in his apartment. Kessler's there eating a sandwich, and then Laura, the chicken question from Michigan.
Oh, and I did make the note that I'm your Kramer.
You're my Kramer.
I am.
You think
Kramer.
you're a wacky, fun character?
Yeah.
You think that's what
I think I just show up in your house and I just have these great ideas, and I'm just like, Louis, this is a great idea. This is gonna make so much sense.
A single idea
and
in my
he
life.
gets like, what are you doing? And
who are you?
Do it.
If you were gonna be anybody in the show, you think you're Kramer?
I think I'm your Kramer.
To my Jerry. If I'm Jerry, Harrington would be
Newman.
Harrington's my Newman. I don't know what that means yet, but I think Jerry and Newman don't get along. You would be, you're more the George, Jenny.
You think so? All
You're
right.
short. You're balding.
Annoying.
You're annoying. I hate you. Yeah, maybe. And we still need the Elaine character at one point.
Yes.
We'll
That's
figure
the next
that
episode.
out.
I'm
we gotta figure
very
it out.
excited for her.
Okay, so let's see. So Laura finally calls him Kramer once again, or Kessler being very funny. he's like, after Jerry says that he's like, yeah, I don't know if this girl's gonna come. I think it messed up.
Let me talk to her.
And he's like, you want me to talk to her? He's like, no, I don't want you to talk to her. And then she calls, and he just keeps on saying in the background, let me talk to her. Give me the phone. Let me talk to her.
I want you to talk to her.
It's pretty funny.
So funny.
If Kessler wasn't in this show, the first episode would have been a problem. Okay.
All right, fine, but he sealed it. Like he's hilarious.
So what, Harrington?
Sorry,
Harrington,
I'm
you're doing a lot of
doing
fidgeting
it.
and a
Hello,
lot
Harrington.
of just speak, Harrington.
Well, I don't have a mic, so I don't want to.
It's okay. You can speak off mic.
Well, I sent you the explanation for why he's called Kessler.
Okay.
And
Well,
then
here.
I'm just trying to direct Jenny to get on.
Okay, I got it. So here, let me see. Harrington sent me the explanation. Was name was Kessler because Kramer was the name of Larry David's neighbor, and he didn't want to get sued. The neighbor was a fan of Seinfeld's and gave him a green light to use the name Kramer. Oh, fun.
Oh, nice.
Little facts. Harrington, you can text me little tidbits and facts as they relate at any time in the show. This is for the Jerry or the Seinfeld fan that's either a massive fan or the newbie like me. Okay, we want to learn. So I don't have an issue with that, Harrington. Just let me know. Okay. So the chick finally calls and she says, she says, hey, he picked me up from the airport and can I stay with you? Now, if a chick calls me up and says, pick me up from the airport and doesn't suck my cock off my body, there's a problem. That's crazy. Okay. Get a fucking taxi.
I would not call a man and not expect to suck the cock off his body.
That's right.
I mean,
We were
just
raised the
would
same
be-
way. Like, what type of person would not
call somebody,
and ask for a
make
ride
a
from the airport?
demand.
If I and look, I've had fans pick me up from the airport. My old show, Driving Lewis, where I would just randomly tweet out, "Hey, pick me up from the airport," just so those guys know they could have got me to suck their cock right off their body.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a feminist, so like, I wouldn't take a favor from a man because guess what? I know he's gonna want the cock sucked off his body. So guess what? I'm gonna say, hey, listen, I'm not trying to suck any cock today. I'm just gonna take this cab.
Do this. Here you go. Just hold it, because I think you're having issues. Just keep it in front of your face. Don't touch it to your nose or your mouth. Just pull it up like this far away, like this. No, there we go. It doesn't have. You don't have to touch your lips to it. You can just pull it away a little bit. Okay. Now keep on saying how you're a feminist.
I was gonna say so, and that's usually
And
how
how
it
women
goes when
should-
you're driving
should
home with
suck
these
cocks
guys.
and men that do
They
favors for
tell
them.
you,
Go ahead.
don't put your lips on it too much.
Yeah, exactly. Is that how you would suck
Is
a
it
cock? You
far
would just
enough,
smash your nose into it.
or-
So yeah, like this is also, this is where it gets a little crazy too. So Jerry.
So you think this is all crazy? I was going to ask you, what do you think of him bringing in the extra bed?
So this is the only part that I think they wouldn't have written in today is Kramer.
No, I'm saying, what do you as a dude think of this dude bringing in a bed for a chick who's coming to stay in his apartment?
Jerry talked himself out of his getting his cock sucked off his body because in the real world, Laura was a pig. You find out later on, and at the end that she's engaged, right?
Yeah.
And that's all the whole big twist at the end. That's like the last big punch of the
Yeah.
show. But the reality is, if a woman asks to stay with a man like that, I'm telling you right now, she's
Ladies,
trying to fuck.
you're-
You have to recognize the buying signs. And I've had plenty of
No.
times in my life.
I agree with that. And you
As I
can't
think-
send these crazy signals.
You can do whatever you want to
I
do, but I'm
mean-
just saying that as a man, at 38 years old now, I know when a chick wants to fuck. I'm almost never wrong about it. This is what you gotta do. If you're a man, trust your instincts. If you get a vibe that a chick wants to fuck, okay, 99% of the time, go for it. She wants to. Okay, I've been wrong so few times. I've had a couple times where I like leaned in for a kiss and she was like, "No, I wasn't."
No,
But
what's wrong with you?
even then, like it wasn't like that she didn't want to. Maybe she didn't want to there in that moment, or she's just sort of like I'm very forward, so I'll just fucking be like, "Oh, cool, let's go
You
fuck
start
in the
fingering her in the bra.
bathroom." Yeah, I was like, come on. She's like, "Why are you fingering me? We just met." But so here that would be a major buying sign. This woman's saying, "I want to spend the night with you. I want to spend the night at your place."
Come pick me up at the airport.
Yeah, so that was another funny moment between George and Jerry. So he's like, it's all in the greeting. He's like, you're gonna know if this chick's gonna want to bang by the way she greets you. And he's like, he goes over the different type of hugs and like, a little pat hug on the back. And it's a pretty funny moment because she comes in and she puts her hands over Jerry's eyes to cover his eyes. She's like, guess who? Then he turns around and they just grab each other's hands and start jumping up and down and laughing. And then Jerry looks over at George and he's like, which just another funny little moment. The acting is actually like sort of like those little like reactions.
Yeah,
it's a big part of why it's funny. So they get back to his place. She asks for alcohol. He's like, oh, do you want some water, some bread? She asks for alcohol, which I'm like...
Excuse me, they get back to his place. She unbuttons a top button.
Okay.
Gets real comfortable, clicks a light off, right?
Now you're holding it to your cheek. It's in your hand. There's
Asks
no
for
reason.
some wine.
Yeah. Ask for some wine.
What are these signals screaming
Right there, go to the bathroom, and I'd take a blue chew. Because I'm like, within 45 minutes...
I need to be ready.
I'm going to fucking smash this chick to pieces. It's going to get wild in 45 minutes.
I said this. What?
Bringing an extra bed is also psychotic because...
Ask for another night to stay there. Does this all equal sex?
Bringing in an extra bed is a crazy thing to do, even if you don't believe that she's going to. This is the part that I said wouldn't happen now. Kramer's like, he's like, why even give her the choice? Which is just like that. Like, I think today wouldn't get past the fucking weird fucking. But it's almost true. If you give her that choice, Jerry's sort of getting himself out of pussy right now, right?
Yeah,
he's talking himself out of pussy. It's his neuroticism. I think there was a path.
If anything, he offers to sleep on the floor, and then she's
you offer
like,
to sleep
no,
on the
or,
couch.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
You offer to sleep on the couch, whatever it is. There's a couch there. You're fine. You know. But his lack of confidence.
Well, the couch is the bed, isn't it? That's his bed in the apartment.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's why he brought the other bed in.
I find this out later on. Do we know that? Are you 100%? Does he not have a bedroom?
I don't know.
Is it a studio apartment?
I thought it was a studio.
No, I don't think so. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe we'll find out.
Maybe we'll find out. Who
We're
knows?
We're going to figure this out.
We'll see if he has a bedroom.
Mystery.
There we go. First mystery. Does Seinfeld have a bedroom?
Where does Seinfeld sleep?
Harrington, write
Mark
these
Norman
down.
Would know.
No, he would know. But that's why I don't want him on the fucking show. Because he'd be like, oh, he's got a 2-bedroom. He's got a fucking bird cage. And the other, fuck off, Mark Norman. Beat it. Beat it, you fucking nerd. We need to do this shit ourselves.
Yeah, we're going to figure it out, guys.
Shut the fuck up, Harrington.
Oh.
I wanted to figure it out naturally and on our own. And we would have had a moment by episode 6 where they finally revealed his bedroom and the first mystery would have been solved. Thank you for ruining the show. Thank you for ruining the show, Harrington. So, yes.
We'll come back to that.
So another funny moment, she's sitting there and she's like, right before he finds out that she's engaged, she's like, you know what I really want to do? I know it's a little bit touristy, but I want to take one of those 5-hour boat cruises around Manhattan.
And he's like, think of you so much.
He's like, yeah, we'll do that. He's just like, at this point.
So that's my question for you. All right, total hot babe comes into town.
She's not hot.
Not hot.
Laura's not hot.
Not hot.
And
Jerry does.
Pull up a picture of this girl in post.
Jerry does date a lot of hot babes. She is not a hot babe at all.
Stop saying hot babes. Are you a fucking Ninja Turtle?
What would you do?
Were they tubular?
Would you take a 5-hour boat ride around Manhattan for a hot enough babe?
I mean, I do a lot of.
For your ex.
What do you mean, my ex?
Your last girlfriend, who's not from New York. So.
Would I? Just say a hot babe in general. Is that specifically?
All right, fine. A hot babe. Would you take a boat ride around Manhattan for a hot babe for 5 hours?
You would, Harrington would.
5 hours.
You think I would, Harrington? No. Would I? I mean, I do.
His time is so precious to him. He gets so impatient.
I really do.
Can you see him floating just in a circle around fucking Manhattan that he's seen 1,000 times in his life?
I mean, what time of year is it? There's a lot.
It's winter. It's cold.
I don't. I would have probably suggested we do something different.
No, she wants to do this, and she's a really hot babe.
He agrees to go with her, and then she gets a phone call, and excuse me, she's like, hey, hi, yeah, I'm here, and then I'm staying here tomorrow night as well. And she goes, no, I'm not going to do this right now. This is in the conversation right now, and you can kind of tell it's her boyfriend or fiance on the phone. Bitching, being like, why are you in a fucking man's apartment? You had a man pick you up from the airport, okay? You are staying at his apartment 2 nights in a row.
You're drinking wine.
Your blouse is unbuttoned.
You just bought tickets for a 5-hour boat ride around Manhattan.
I mean, she's a fucking pig. Laura's an absolute pig slut.
She's a whore. Jerry was right.
Jerry probably could have gotten anal night 1, okay? But he talked himself out of this pussy. So then she hangs up and she's like, never get engaged. And even in that moment, I'm going,
Get out.
No. In my mind, I'm going trouble in paradise. I'm gonna fuck this chick's. I'm gonna fuck this dude's fiance. And my dick at that moment might have popped up a little bit. I was like, okay, I get what the fuck's going on here. She's
All right.
a
He
fucking
likes the
animal.
challenge.
But
All right.
Jerry's like, womp womp. I suck. Life's terrible. I mean, the whole
She's in
lesson.
love.
The whole lesson here, and we're gonna end every episode, by the way, with a lesson as well. The lesson real ass lesson. Okay, take the shot. Take the fucking shot. At that point, he should have still said, fuck it. She's here. She's got her blouse undone. We're drinking wine. We have a fucking 5-hour date tomorrow. She just told me she's not even happily engaged. She said never get engaged. Okay? She's not wearing the ring. I looked at her finger, not wearing the ring. If I'm Jerry, I would have looked at him like, oh, she's not even wearing the fucking ring. This asshole called, and now we put a little roadblock here. But these are all still buying signs. 100% still buying signs. In my mind, that would have sealed the fucking deal right there. But not Jerry. Not Jerry.
I am a betting man, and I would be willing to put money that Lewis would have closed that deal within the hour.
Guaranteed.
Within the hour.
Or I would have literally kicked her out of my home. I would have fucking...
No, you would have closed. You're a good salesman.
I am a good salesman. I'm recognizing all these... As a salesman, I would go, okay, at this point...
Closed on it.
I would have just stopped talking. I would like let her talk herself out of her panties. Let me just sit back. Yeah, exactly. But Jerry's not that guy. Maybe he's a nicer guy, whatever it is. But women do not want a nice guy. Women want a guy that's going to take charge a little bit, you know? And she was setting him up, so many different buying signs here and setting him up for it. But he failed himself. So the lesson here on the first episode of Gomez Watches Seinfeld is take the shot. Don't second guess yourself, okay? All of the questioning himself and all the, what does this mean? What does that mean? Doggy, you're just overthinking all of these variables that don't really fucking matter. You got the vibe from the chick. She's coming to visit you. She wants to stay in your place. She wants alcohol. She tells you she's not in a happy relationship. That's it, okay? Why? The other thing is, I was going to ask you, Jenny, because you are married. I mean, why even get engaged? This is what, like, the other thing, like, I sort of stuck out at me is like, this chick is engaged. I don't know if I could ever get, I mean, maybe I could if look, I'm dating somebody now and she's expressed that she wants to get married one day, not to me, but like that she wants to get married one day. So I guess if it was super important to the chick, I would do it because why not? Fuck it, right? Because it's not so important for me to not.
You would make it a whole thing though. You would make it like I know people who have like engagement parties, and then after the engagement party, there's like a pre-wedding party, and then like if you had a chick who wanted to do all that, you would be willing to do all of that. Like
I would not
like a year before the wedding, you're gonna have like the fucking pre-wedding party.
I don't know that I would do all that. I don't even know if I would have a big wedding. I would want.
That's what I was saying. Like I couldn't imagine you doing any of that.
A small wedding, like you go to the Caribbean, maybe rent a villa in Jamaica. Bring your, a few family members, a few friends. You tell everyone, like, come out. You have, 20, 30-person wedding on the beach. That would be something that's fun to me, something that's romantic. Also, maybe not even, like, by legal standards getting married. Like, why get the government involved?
Yeah, don't get the government involved at all.
What's the point?
Why can't you just... For any of your fans out there, do not get married. Just keep it civil. Don't...
But why? Like, why not just simply make the commitment to each other, have the party... But why do you have to have the document as well? Unless you're taking care of that, if your wife or your wife is taking care of you as a dependent.
Yeah, but you could get all of that in writing. You don't even need to get married to have all of that. Like, I guess, like, rights to the house and things like that.
No.
Well,
you can't. In writing, it doesn't mean shit. So for tax purposes, right, you have nothing in writing.
That's what I'm saying. You're better off, for tax purposes, being single. Like, our tax bracket when we're single is we get a lot more money when we're single than when we're married.
Of course, but what I'm saying is, like, let's say you weren't working and your husband Guillermo was working, and you were a dependent. For his taxes, there's a real benefit to be married, right? So he can claim you as a dependent, and I think you can claim a dependent if you've lived together for a certain amount of time as well. But I think that there are benefits depending on how much money you make and depending on who's working, who's making more money. But I just wouldn't. I would feel like having the government involved and having a document to prove our love.
And then to break up too. Like, you need the government involved to break up. You need, like, it's just, it puts this extra person in the middle of your relationship that you don't need there.
Yeah. So this woman's a stupid bitch all around is what we're saying. Clearly,
Laura's got to go.
What are we going to give her?
And she's not even that hot.
In terms of looks, I'd give her a legitimate 5.5 maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah. You think higher or lower?
4.3.
4.3.
All right, no, you got to base. You got to do
You
personality.
weren't that specific.
Personality, body, and and face.
That's the it's called the area code method, invented by my friend Jared Freed.
I invented this method. So for personality, I give her a 0 because she's a stupid bitch.
0.
Face, she was okay in the face.
It's okay.
Give
She had
her
like a long
5,
mom face with
she
shit,
had
like a
dumb
shitty haircut.
hair.
She had like Karen hair, right? Oh, I just used the word Karen legitimately,
Yeah,
but that's what it is. That's what
it's
Karen's
Karen
supposed
haircut,
to be, right? Is that haircut? So I'm gonna give her
a 5.
a 5 on the face, and the body looked okay. So I'll give her a
Body
7.
was 7. Yeah.
I mean, she was personable, but she was a stupid bitch who.
No, she was a dumb bitch.
Yeah,
Who does all that?
0.57. Fine, you're right. I'll
And
give her
then you know what?
0.57.
If Jerry did do something that night, she'd be crying that she raped her.
You think so?
I do.
Jerry could have gotten Me Too in episode
You know
1.
what?
If the show was invented today.
Her fiance would have found out. Her fiance would have got upset. She would have said, "Oh no, he got me drunk." Meanwhile, she showed up there. She asked for the wine.
Hell yeah. You really are my sister. I like this. Yeah, you're goddamn right.
I didn't like Laura.
But yeah, Laura was a piece of shit, and she was actually trying to set him up for a rape trap. You're right.
She was asking.
We're gonna call her Rape Trap Laura, okay? And she was setting him up to possibly ruin his fucking career. We would have never seen 7 seasons of this show
because she did something regrettable, and her fiance found out.
This is it, okay? So Laura, go fuck yourself. The lesson is, gentlemen, just take the shot. Even though Laura would have probably tried to ruin your life, but to be honest with you, I don't give a shit.
Regretted that shot.
Listen to me. Who you're gonna align with? The ideas and the career and choice of Jerry Seinfeld, or the Puerto Rican rattlesnake Louis J. Gomez? Who, by the way, me and Seinfeld, I feel like right now in the show, we're probably on a comparable level. I think that he's about the same level as I am.
Do you remember the first video you ever brought home of you doing stand up?
No.
Thanksgiving when Jerry Seinfeld comes out on stage.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
does like a good 10 minutes. On you?
No, he didn't do it.
Up. Yeah, he did. It was hilarious.
Jerry Seinfeld did one joke on me. I remember it so much. And we'll end the show with this. So yeah, I'm on stage. I used to produce shows at Stand Up New York when I first started doing comedy. And I'm on stage hosting my own show, just doing horseshit jokes. I'm like a year or 2 into comedy. It's just, my comedy's so bad at this time. And I get a note while I'm on stage from the waiter, and he's like, "Seinfeld's here, put him up first." And you just see me. I'm like nervous. I grab the note. I'm like, okay. And then
literally go, is this serious?
Yeah, I go, are you serious? And it was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So then I remember I was like, Seinfeld's watching now, so let me pull one out of the archives. So, I was like, I got to pull one of my good ones out. So I'm like, so when you're raping a bitch in a hotel on a dirty mattress? And it's like, okay. Nobody laughs. Just terrible joke. And I was wearing a sweater, and it was actually the same color as Seinfeld's sweater. So then he comes on stage. And I mean, dude, I'd never heard an explosion I've never heard clapter like this.
He's so funny. He's a funny man.
But before he even tells a joke, like the audience is losing their fucking minds. It's a packed 180 people at Stand Up New York on a Sunday night, packed, sold out show. They're just there for Joe Schmo, whoever the fuck's on the show. And Seinfeld comes in, and it was a standing ovation and a raucous applause for probably a full 2 minutes. Just fucking similar to like Louis at Skankfest. Like that's how excited people were. It's Seinfeld on the Upper West Side. That's Louis at Skankfest. That's his audience, baby boy. Okay, they go nuts. And the first thing that Jerry says, the first words out of his mouth, he goes, "I'm at the very top of this business. This guy's at the very bottom of the business. We're wearing the same sweater." Audience goes, "Ah." I'm like, "Yeah, we are. We are wearing the same sweater." And that was my first time I ever met Jerry Seinfeld. My first introduction to him, and it was a cool experience watching. And even at that time, this is 2003, 2004, I guess. I just started comedy. Whatever. I've been in comedy for about 15 years now. So I guess a little later, 2006 maybe, 2005. And yeah, he fucking. I mean, it was a cool thing to see that you can get that much fanfare. I never experienced like a comedian getting that much fanfare, like it was a rock star, like the Beatles had walked in. It was that people were that excited, and it wasn't like people aren't fans. I mean, they are fans now of comics. It's different, but like even back then, it's not like people were like, "I'm a fan of stand-up comedy and I love Jerry Seinfeld." It was almost he had transcended. He was so famous.
He's a legend.
Let me finish my point, please, for the love of God. He was, yes, he's a legend, but it's not. I don't feel like people define themselves as comedy fans or Seinfeld fans or Martin Lawrence fans or Chris Rock fans. That wasn't like like almost a personality trait. Like now I think people like they put podcast fan in their bio on Twitter. They put like comedy fan. I feel like that was a different thing back then. And he was so famous and so funny and so talented that people just, it was like this energy when he walked in the room that people were like, wow, they were like starstruck. It was almost the fame is what sort of sold the people. And that's why they were so excited. And also he could deliver on the jokes because he did such, I mean, the jokes he was telling, and this is right when he was coming back after, because the famous story about Seinfeld as well is that he worked on his hour for like 20 years and that was his hour. And then he did a documentary called Comedian, if you guys don't remember this, and he gave up his hour. He was like, I'm giving up my hour. I'm going to write a brand new hour. And like that now, Louis C.K. and Bill Burr do that every year. They write a new hour every year. But that was a different time where like it was a big deal for Seinfeld to be working on new jokes. And he came in and he was doing these brilliant fucking jokes. They were really funny, much funnier than what we saw on the actual show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because I never was interested, like, and I was always interested in stand-up. Like, if you remember our whole lives, I mean, I would have Comedy Jam every Friday, Saturday night. Like that, I was watching that. Like every show on MTV. Remember, like the half-hour comedy hours, all that stuff. I was watching it. So like,
well, you loved comedy as a kid.
Yeah,
I really
loved
did.
comedy,
and our mother did too. Like honestly, she showed us Eddie Murphy, Raw, and
do you
Delirious.
Remember, even the Comic Relief, like I used to love those showcases.
Yeah. Whoopi Goldberg,
and like those guys were hilarious to me.
What was his name?
Billy
Crystal,
Robin Williams,
Billy Crystal, Bobcat Goldthwait, all these guys.
Yeah, dude.
It was
like comedy heavyweights, but
we were a particularly like we were particularly into comedy. But if you would have asked me when I was 12 years old if I was a stand-up comedy fan,
I would have said yes.
I don't know that I would have said yes. I don't know that would have been something that defined. Like I was a hold on, let me. Please keep on just fucking yapping over me in the middle of my sentences. Jesus Christ. We need headphones, Harrington.
Edit this out, Harrington, because
no, we're not editing any of this
very
out.
rude.
I lied about all that. There's no editing.
No, Harrington.
She's actually your boss, which is pretty funny.
You do what I say right now.
Harrington, eat my pussy right now.
Oh, my God.
She went down under the table. Ooh. Harrington. Ooh. Maybe shave first. Yeah, but like back then I didn't think like, I mean, I would have said I was a pro wrestling fan, or I would have said that I was a fan of.
No, see, I remember all these specials. I like Roseanne special. Remember, what's his name? Chris Rock. That was a little bit later. Who else is special that we used to watch? Eddie Murphy was a big one.
It was Delirious and Raw. And at my son's age, 7 or 8 years old, just hearing all those bits, they were so dirty, but I really connected with them. The reason I loved Eddie. And
yes.
it was almost the same reason we loved Martin and Living Single and all these other shows.
Specials too. Martin
Martin Lawrence, the joke about the fly. Look up the fly joke where he's like only a white bitch would stay with that fly, and then he's walking in, and then he does the impression of the black girl. It's like no, he's running. Dude, it's so good. But Eddie Murphy, the bit about the ice cream falling on the floor on the McDonald's burgers, or how good they were, and how your mom would make you a burger on bread and it would just sop up all the juice.
Yes,
I connected
relatable,
so relatable. And I think Seinfeld, especially as a kid, I just couldn't
anything there.
Yeah, there wasn't anything there. But look, Jenny. All right,
my only point on this was that I thought that though, and then I actually did watch his special back in the 90s. Phenomenal. I mean, just one of them. Yeah, Seinfeld, one of the most hilarious specials. I got it after I watched that special as a kid, as like maybe 14 or 15 when this came out. I was like, wow, I get it. I get why Seinfeld's a legend. I get why he's a heavyweight. I get why this show is successful. I get it now. Yeah. And like after that point, I got it. So I watched the show a little bit more. But I'm saying maybe you should watch some of the stand-up because the stand-up does hold up and it is really
maybe
funny.
We'll do a special bonus episode where we review one of his stand-up specials. I don't know. We'll figure that out. There's a lot to unpack with this show, obviously. How long have we been going, Harrington? Wow. I was planning on doing 45 minutes, and we're already at an hour 8. So I like we can talk about comedy. There's obviously this is going to go off into different, rants and things that as it relates to our life, as it relates to the time period, as it relates to comedy in general, sitcoms, television in general. So this was, in my opinion, a great first episode. I want to thank you guys for supporting it and watching it. Hopefully you guys really enjoy it. Once again, go subscribe on Gas Digital. But the real most important thing you can do right now, because discoverability is the important part about these podcasts, is go to our iTunes page right now, Gomez Watches Seinfeld, leave us a 5-star rating and a review. Please leave us a review, hopefully positive. Hopefully you guys liked it. And let us know other things that you guys want to hear us talk about. Maybe we missed some things in this episode. If you want to leave them in the YouTube comments, maybe there's things that, you have some other angles. Let us know about your favorite episodes you want to see us review. Whatever. We love the fan interaction. You guys are the best fan base in the entire fucking world. You legitimately are. But go leave us that 5-star rating on iTunes right now, because because that helps the show, that helps people discover it, and tell some friends about it. Go, if you have a friend who's a Seinfeld fan, or just a fan of comedy in general or podcasting in general, go tell them about this show. Tell them to put it on in their car and or whatever it is at the gym, and spread the word about the show, because this is brand new, and I want to show my sister how incredible podcasting can be. I truly look at this also as an experiment for her and for our relationship. We're constantly at each other's throats. She's one of the only people that I fight with every single
Not
week.
me.
No,
I'm not at his throat.
She's really at my throat all the time. It's fucking psychotic. But I want to thank you guys so much. Leave us some feedback. Let me know what you guys thought of the show, and we will check you next week on Gomez Watches Seinfeld.